You're the guy people call when they need a helping hand, moving furniture, unloading a truck. But lately, your shoulder's been acting up, and you're the one who's calling for help. And that's the moment you realize you can no longer shoulder the load.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for orthopedic care with a range of surgical and non-surgical treatments. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 599, Being Worthy of Wellness with Kelly Lynn Gibson.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I am Amanda Valentine. My guest today is Kelly Lynn Gibson. Hello, Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So, Kelly, I follow you on Instagram, and I have to say that you probably have more energy than anybody that I have ever seen. Like, oh my gosh, you are just like, wow, and everything, and just like bouncing around, and just a huge smile on your face. I'm like, it is just so infectious. I'm like, dang, I got to know more about this chick, because how are you so amped every single day and so happy of like, I mean, I just like, it's bonkers to me. It's just kind of like, I don't know how anybody can do one of your fitness classes or follow you online and just not be cheered up. You are just like the spunkiest lady on earth, in my opinion.
Thank you. I, it's something that I've been on the other side of life. And I've been down and I've gone through things, and I something that I say is you cannot shine bright in the world unless you find the light within yourself. So I'm really passionate about helping other people, and I really do build off of others' energy. Everybody always asks me, how can we, can you bottle that up and sell it? Like, how can I get some of that energy that you have? And I really tell people that it's something that comes from within. It starts with believing that you're worthy and believing that you're capable, and just shining that and being a light for others. And that gives me the energy that I need, and then plenty of extra to spill over to infect everybody in a positive light. So
yeah, and I mean,
that's just who I am.
And you're super busy too. You're an author, you're a health and fitness coach. And I mean, you've been on freaking Ellen. So like, I guess let's start at the beginning of what your story is. I know that you're in Dayton, Ohio. I'm in Cincinnati. But you've obviously, you've been doing all these things for everybody to enjoy. So, I mean, how did you get your beginnings in going into this health, wellness, positivity space?
So it really all started, honestly, with I got to a crucial point in my life where it was like, I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I was very in a mentally abusive relationship. I had my first son. I really had hit a dark spot to where I basically just surrendered my life over to Christ. Like, I was like, I can't do this on my own anymore. Jesus, take the wheel. And literally, like, I just gave all my burdens away. And it wasn't like weeks before things just started to fall into place. I met my husband, who has always been like my biggest supporter. He's always pushed me to be better. And he's seen things in me that I didn't see in myself. And through all of that, we got married happily ever after. And then a few weeks later, we found out we were having triplets. Like literally 10 weeks after we got married, boom, you're going to have triplets. And it was like, wow. It was like a crazy, beautiful blessing, but also kind of scary. Not too long after that, we found out our job was closing. So we both worked there, for me 10 and him 20 years. And then it's like you have 4 children, 3 of which are 2 years old. Your job's closing. So it was a lot. It was a lot of stress. I was going to school, trying to balance everything out. Being a mom of triplets is ridiculous. It's hard. It's fun. They gave me energy through. I had to be my best self for them. So, my husband had some health complications because he was working like 2 jobs, doing a lot of things. And there was a point where I was just like, I'm going to write Ellen today. I'm just going to do it. And it was kind of like on my to-do list for the day. So I wrote Ellen, and despite everything that was going on, our jobs, our job loss and all of that coming up, I remained positive. I knew that we could get through this. I knew that when one door closes, something is going to be bigger on the other side. I always believed in that. So the next day she called, and one of our producers called and was like, we're flying you out. And they blessed us in like a beautiful way. They gave us a car. They really gave us a boost. And even Ellen said, wow, it's amazing you have this much energy with triplets and another child at home. And she was just very, she noticed my energy. So I was already in school, and Innergize was a word that I wanted, because everybody always asked me if they could bottle it up and have it and buy it from me. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I just want to shine my light into your life. And that's how I do it. And people were really inspired of my fitness after triplets journey, because I gained like 90 to 100 pounds, and then I had lost it. This was before Ellen. I'm sorry to get off. But people were inspired and like, how did you do that? How do you maintain all this energy? So that really inspired me to start my own thing. And I started speaking in moms groups and started doing more things.
So how did you lose 100 pounds after triplets? Because, I mean, for people to lose that amount of weight, I mean, is already super tough. And then to have triplets and plus another child at home, and it's like, dang, what an accomplishment. Like, how did you get that done? Well,
really, it was having the support that I needed to really believe in myself. So after I had the triplets, first of all, I breastfed them. So just wrap your head around that, because there's only 2 boobs and a whole lot of babies. So I never thought that was possible. I think that actually carrying triplets and successfully taking care of triplets gave me, like, I felt like Superwoman, like I could do anything. There wasn't anything that I couldn't do. And my husband always was like, you're going to be in the best shape of your life after triplets. And I was like, man, I just want to put pants on and like feel normal again. And he would just always encourage that. And I didn't really believe it at the time, but the more encouragement that he gave me, and then the more encouragement that I started speaking these positive things to myself and changing the way that I thought. So starting to believe that I was worth being better for, and having a why bigger than myself. Like, I want to be the best possible me for my kids. I have a daughter now, and I want her to look up to me and say, man, I can do that. I can do hard things, and I can accomplish anything that I set out to accomplish. So I started walking one day. My husband always said, you're a runner, you're a natural runner. I'm like, I wouldn't even do the fitness test at school. So he always said that. So I would walk my dog, and one day it started raining, and he started pulling me, and I ran like a whole mile, and I was like, what? I just ran a mile. So every day I would build upon that. And then I just started learning more about food and really getting fascinated with, the labels and like everything that they hide in and the sugars, and started watching documentaries and just got really into bettering myself for a better and brighter future. So it just, like, the more you learn, the more you know, the better you do. So it just kind of once I overcame one goal, I just kept doing it. And it was like, we did the Tough Mudder a few times, and just building upon goals and believing that you're capable of achieving them really catapults that belief in yourself that you can.
So, I mean, was weight loss even ever the goal, or was it just to feel like I want to feel like my best self and see what my body can do, and the weight just kind of fell off along with those goals?
Well, I wanted to lose the weight. I did. I was in a funk while breastfeeding, because I thought, hey, I'm breastfeeding triplets. This is going to be easy. Like, I'm going to drop this weight super quick. and it didn't. It held on. My body was like holding on to the nutrients. So, but I did want to feel like myself again. And it ended up kind of turning into a whole nother thing. I never could imagine myself writing a book or speaking in front of a crowd. Like, I didn't even take public speaking in high school because I couldn't do that. And the more my story grew and the more I started to overcome things, the more inspired people were by my journey. I was like, I have to share this with the world. I have to tell people and help them to feel the feeling that I feel, because it's true. Like we as human beings, and especially as women, we let fear take over everything, and we let fear control the way that we think and the things that we do. Like, I can't do that. That's all we ever say is I can't. But if we really speak and believe and say and really practice positive affirmations with ourselves and with others, and that's where my real passion of women empowerment grew. Like, how can I get other people to feel this? How can I get other people to believe that they're capable? Because if you don't believe that you're capable, you'll never try.
Yeah, exactly. And so how are you doing that on a daily basis? I mean, I know that you have health coaching and, you do some fitness classes and stuff like that. Like, how have you transformed, that passion into a career?
After I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I'm now in my master's program, and I'm just inspired to like keep building. Like, I told my mom I'm going to get my master's, and she was like, well, I guess we'll have a doctor in the family. And I said, I'm getting my master's. She said, well, you won't stop there. So it's that feeling of something that I say is a quote that I like to say is, don't let the fear of failure keep you from pursuing your purpose. Take the leap of faith and see where it lands you. Because to get back on the question that you asked, as developing Innergize as an women's empowerment dance fitness class, it's very important to me to be a safe space, but also like a super empowering space where people can come in. We do a lot of like girl power anthems, like I Love Me, I'm a Lady, a lot of songs that just really boost. And I'm like, say it, scream it, let it all out. We sweat, we shout, we let it all out. Get that angst and anxiety. This is the place. And we always feel better at the end of class, no matter how sweaty and gross or whatnot. I want them to walk in the door worthy, knowing that they're worthy. And I want them to walk out of the door feeling empowered, that they can do hard things, that they are capable, and that they're worthy, and that they're strong. And I do that in my classes, and I speak on that. And through my health coaching, it's very important for me to focus not just on weight loss, but on bettering your whole self. So mind, body, and spirit, because we as women struggle with that so much. We let and that's another thing that I talk about is how we let the way society views women hold us back from achieving the goals that we set for ourselves. And they pin us against each other, and only a few of us can succeed. And it's really important for me to help that's where my energy comes from too. When I see another woman who I've helped succeed, that makes me take it up a notch. Like, I helped her do that. Empowering other people empowers me. And there's no stopping. I say Innergize is a ripple effect of women supporting women. And like, there's no stopping me. I'm going to take it wherever it takes me. And like, I want to make a difference and an impact in the world. And that's why I wrote my book.
Yeah. So tell me about the process of writing a book, because that just seems incredibly overwhelming. Like, how do you just sit down, like pen to paper one day and be like, I'm going to write an entire book?
It wasn't, I did say last year about this time, I said, I'm going to finish my book by the end of 2020. It will be released in 2020. Little did I know everything that was going to happen on top of that in 2020 and all the stress that it would endure as far as while writing my book. The one thing that having more time obviously COVID for a lot of people has forced them to stay at home more often and do things more often. And my biggest thing is I'm going to make the most of this time that I have. I can't teach classes like I want to teach classes. I can't do one-on-one because for me, one-on-one is important in health coaching too. It's more personal. I can't do everything that I want to do. It feels like, there's a halt, but also I was very appreciative of the pause. I got to see my kids. I got to help my kids through some very monumental times, and I got to pause and really reflect on everything that I've been through and everything that has led me to this point, and really get deep into my writing and make it not so surface level. So I went back into my past. I said some things that I didn't plan on saying. I got deeper than I planned on being. And I think that telling my story, I hope that can help other people open up and tell their own stories. Because when we own our own mess, our own story, then it no longer gives the story power. It no longer gives the past power over us. We can release that pain when we embrace it, realize, wow, look how far I've come, and then really share. Because when you share your story, other people start to relate to little bits and pieces of it. And that really gives you even more power in your own journey.
So is that what your book is about, is just your journey and your kind of takeaways, and then how other people can implement those takeaways into their own life?
Yes. I start in the beginning, and then I say, like, this is where I was. And then like a secondary part of each chapter is what can you take away from this? And how can you, and basically me saying, I know that I can't prevent you from making the same mistakes that I made. I know that I can't just say, love yourself, and you're automatically gonna start loving you for where you are right now. But I want you to see, maybe through my journey, you can relate and take away some of those things, like just some of the lessons learned over time. And really, I want to be a positive impact through my book, that even though we go through hard things, even though we fall down 7 times, as long as we get up 8 times, we're still making forward progress. So just continuing to push forward no matter what, and never, ever, ever give up on your dreams, because you can do it. You are capable. You are worthy of being your best self. You deserve to feel good. And some of the things that come along with that, I talk about, like self-care. Eating healthy and exercising is an amazing form of self-care and self-love. But until you believe that you're worth being better for, you won't start making that first step.
So knowing that these are all your passions, I am super curious, what are you getting your master's in?
I'm getting my master's in organizational leadership was my bachelor's, leadership development, which is very introspective. I actually got my associates in mental health, which is, I worked in that for 10 years. So I feel like it's coming full circle, mind, body, and spirit, like as far as my surrender journey, my mental health background, and my body transformation over time, and just learning how to be healthier, happier, and more productive. And now learning how to take that to the next step and really make a positive impact on others.
Well, since you've worked in mental health, I mean, what are your thoughts on just how everybody is dealing with 2020 in general, COVID and everything else? Because this year has been a mental kick to the face to so many people, and has really deteriorated mind, body, and spirit in so many ways. Have you just even felt that even more with the people that you surround yourself with, and the people that you coach, and the people that come to you for inspiration? And do you find it, just different than where it was last year, of how, you're implementing all of the things from your experience into moving people forward from such a chaotic year?
Yeah, it's heavy. This year has been heavy for everybody, and it's definitely harder for people to want to focus on their wellness right now because they're just trying to make it day to day. And I understand that it is not as easy for everybody to just say, let's focus on the positive, because people are in dark places. And I can't fix everything for everybody, but it's important for me to let people know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and that there is something to look forward to. Because if we dwell in all the negativity, if we let everybody else's opinions, if we let the media take over our brains, the way that we think, and we go down that cycle, it's like a snowball effect. And I want to help people realize that no matter where they are right now, no matter how far they've fallen off the wellness wagon, or that they can come to terms with where they are right now and say, I am enough. I accept that this is hard. We're all going through something, and a lot of people are going through something so much bigger than me. But even I, as the most optimistic person in the world, feel that. And I think it's really important for us to try to find the silver lining in the situation. And basically, I feel like my purpose is to try to be that bright light for others and to try to help uplift in any way that I can. And if it's only one day a week, empowering you to feel good and focus on something positive in your life, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to just try to make the best impact that I can. And it's definitely hard. And I recognize that.
Well, I just even think that, obviously your words are super important and helpful at a time like this, but so are your actions to know that, that you finished writing a book and published a book in 2020. You're working on your master's degree. You're working on, your own health and wellness. You're raising multiple children. And how old?
Virtual school.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
With first graders, first graders.
Yikes. That makes me want to drink. Of just to have such positivity and, such optimism and the desire to help so many people through this, showing that, just again, through your actions of how you're handling this year is just so positive in its own of this can be done. This can be handled. Things can be really hard, but like you brought up earlier of get down, knock down, 8 times, get up 9 of, that we can get through this and to find the people that can help you through it. I know for me, part of the struggles I've gone through this year is to just really realize of is how important it is to ask for help and to, just open yourself up to people around you of, maybe sometimes you can't do it by yourself and there's no shame in that game of, especially when things are hard like they are now. And so to surround yourself, virtually or otherwise, with people that are setting a good example for the life that you want to live, that will completely with open arms, even if you're a complete stranger, help you, give you advice, do whatever they can to do that, is just so incredibly important right now. And to kind of let go of that ego of I can do this by myself if you're really struggling and you can't. I think that's where you're so important, in this, of where somebody can follow you on social media, somebody can hire you as a coach, somebody can pick up your book and read your book, of, to have more people that are providing this optimistic light, lead a helping hand, is now more important than ever. And I think that's just the super important work to, kind of in a very, where it feels like we've kind of been separated and segregated and put into our own homes and so isolated in this year, to realize that, we can have a community and we can lift each other up. I think that's what's going to pull us out of this, however long we have to kind of live in this unpleasant COVID world for many reasons. It's just, we're going to kind of have to lean on each other to get through things and hit our goals.
Strong women empower women. And I think it's important to surround yourself with the right people. And right people meaning the people that aren't going to drag you down, the people that aren't going to question your goals or be that you don't want to surround yourself with people who are gossiping and constantly putting other people down, but put people that make you feel supported and people that make you feel like your best self and that can bring out those things in you. Because when you surround yourself with constant negativity, and I know it's harder, especially around the holiday season, and you have family and even though we may not be able to see them as much, just remembering that you have that strong group of women, or you have that strong friend or husband or mother or whoever it is in your life for you that you can turn to, who you know won't judge you or won't turn to the next person and tell them all your stuff. So just having someone that you can really rely on in the midst of the struggle.
So if somebody is like, you know what, I feel like I want to be in the Innergize circle. I want to be in this group of, empowering women, supportive women. Like, what are all the best ways to get in your bubble?
Well, I would definitely say, first of all, Innergize, it's a family. Like, we are family. If you are part of Innergize, you are part of the team. And that is really important to me. I'm a leader by example, but I don't hold myself above anybody. To reach out to me, on the website, energizeu.com, or on the Innergize You on Instagram. I really welcome people, and I really find joy in helping other people be uplifted and become their best self. So just reaching out to me through Instagram, or I'm on Facebook as well, the Innergize website. I'm pretty much everywhere nowadays, but I think that either way, my book, if you're not able to connect directly with me, my book is very authentically me, and it's available on Amazon and through my website. And you would get a better grasp of who I am and where I've been. And hopefully that can inspire you to be your best self. And that's really my biggest goal. If I can change one woman and help her become her best self, or help her discover that she's capable and set a goal and achieve that goal, and then come back to me with the story, that is like all the energy that I need. And that is what helps me to thrive and to continue doing it. And then that woman turns around and inspires her friend to achieve a goal. And it's like ripple effect. Here we come. We are doing this thing. So for one thing that you can do today is tell somebody, hey, I see you over there doing your thing. You are rocking it. By the way, I love your podcast. You are doing this thing. And I listen to your stuff, and it's amazing. And you are shining your light in the world and helping other women shine their lights into the world, and really making it evident that together we are stronger and we will get through this thing. So we might as well come out of this thing as long as we can, rather than just sitting and waiting for it to be over. What can we do right now for a better tomorrow? Because eventually everything will be, hopefully, back to some form of normal. But what can we do right now, and what can we control? Sorry, one more thing. Focus on the things that you can control, because we can't control the election and we can't control everything. What can we control? The way that we eat, the friends that we keep, the things that we read and watch and fill our minds and bodies with. So
100%.
I could go on all day.
I feel you. I'm like hands up, like preach, like 100% of just like, yeah. And I'm working on too, of just staying in the present moment, of quit living in the past, quit living in the future. It's just about today and our choices today and making the best choices possible. And again, if you're not feeling it, then, you've got these, positive resources in your life to kind of help lift you up. And saying that, so if I wanted to find your book on Amazon, what am I looking up?
You can look up Worthy of Wellness is the title, Inspired to Innergize You. Now, Innergize is INNERGIZED. You could just put Kelly Lynn Gibson, Worthy of Wellness, or Worthy of Wellness comes up pretty quickly. But Innergize is because the energy comes from within.
Yeah, I'll put the links in the show notes and stuff too. And I just I just want to say we should buy your book because you got triplets at home, and we just need to support you. I just feel like, oh my God, I just feel like on top of, again, you're just infectious positivity and everything that you got going on, of like to have triplets on top of it is just bonkers in my mind, of like, oh my God, I just feel tired and I only have animals. Like, geez.
They give me energy though, because I don't have a choice. Like, I can't just sit down because as soon as I do, it's like, mommy. Imagine me running around from one computer to the next. That's enough cardio for anybody in a day.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of, I know you have on your website too, the video of you on Ellen, and just again, like your energy there, like, oh my God, it's like, it's you. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody with like more infectious, positive energy that you're just like this, just bright light ball. And I just think it's amazing to watch. I just don't know how people can be in your circle and just not just have it affect you in a positive way. So I'm so glad that you're using and you're harnessing that and putting it out into the world to help so many other women and to bring out the best in them, and that you've taken, your life experience and that you're putting it out in so many different ways. I think it's awesome. And, I just think that it's so cool and to watch. And I had no idea that you were also working on a master's degree too. So, I guess soon to be PhD, which, my God, my husband has a master's and he was going to get his PhD, and he's like, nah, peace out on that amount of work. So I know how much work it is to go through grad school. Like, dang. Like, you are definitely a force of nature. So I'm so glad that you took the time to chat with me, and, Innergize, it's just innergizeyou.com, right?
Yep.
And
INNER, yes.
Okay. And I'll put everything in the show notes. And I just appreciate you being on my podcast and shining your bright light here. And I hope that, anybody that's listened to this, that, you struck a chord with them, that, they found their person.
Yes. And remember that you're the person too. Like, you need to love you first, because if you don't love you first, then you really won't have the energy. Your cup won't overflow. If your cup's empty, you don't have anything to give anybody else. Especially with moms, it's really important, because we feel guilt when we take time for ourselves, for self-care, self-love, exercise, anything that makes us feel good. But if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. And our children are a reflection of us. So if we show them that we can do anything that we put our mind to, then we're only leading by example for our children. So that's really important for me to tell all the moms out there.
Well, Kelly Lynn Gibson, thank you so much for being here. And I'm excited to see what you do next.
Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate it so much.
For info on health coaching and more, go to AmandaValentineBites.com.